Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Budapest Students Broadcast. Please enjoy.
Hello and welcome everyone to Budapest Student Broadcast. This is our third session and hope you enjoyed the previous two. And this time I'm going to be your host and my name is Regő and Polly is here with me as my co-host.
Hello and welcome to everyone.
And we would like to introduce our third guest. His name is Pétervári-Molnár Bendegúz. And he's a professional athlete, a Hungarian rower. He's been to the Olympics and won several Hungarian Championships. And thank you for joining us, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Hi everyone, thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and first of all, I would like to ask you to tell us a few things about yourself. How would you define yourself as a person, as a professional athlete, and also as a student of Corvinus?
First of all, I'm 27 years old, so I'm doing my master's currently at Corvinus University in communication and media. Also, I'm an athlete as long as I remember, so I started swimming at the age of 3. And then during my swimming career, I didn't race much as a swimmer, but then I also become an ice hockey player. So I played ice hockey for roughly from about I was 5 years old till I was 14. I still play ice hockey when I can, during winter time, and usually once or twice a week, just to make things fun and interesting, and not just the usual training.
I see.
And I think I took up rowing besides swimming at the age of 13, and then only rowing remained. I think from when I was 15, something like that. So I'm doing it roughly 12 or 13 years now. 14 now. Jesus, time flies.
Yes. Yes.
So it's quite a long career in rowing.
Yes,
for
indeed.
me.
Yes.
I'm in the national team since 2010.
Yes.
So that was long ago too. I was a junior back then.
Yeah.
In my second junior year. And the Olympic dream came true 4 years ago in Rio. That was a really big experience for me.
Yeah.
I was still doing my bachelor's also here at Corvinus University. And then this is the next big goal too for me. The Olympics in Tokyo next year. Hopefully everything will go according to plan.
Yes, we hope so. You never know, sadly.
Yeah, so I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That's such an amazing career already, and there is more to come, of course, and good luck with that.
Hopefully.
Yes. First of all, we would like to concentrate a little bit on the professional career of yours as an athlete. And you mentioned that you started swimming at the age of 3. That's pretty impressive that you are such an active guy since that young age, and you train a lot. Was it hard sometimes to maintain the motivation, because to be a professional athlete and to be a member of the national team and to be in an Olympic Games, it requires a lot of training and a lot of motivation. So Were there any times when it was hard for you to maintain that motivation, or how could you do that?
Of course, there was. Actually, before qualifying to Rio, I had a pretty rough patch. I mean, I was sitting in another rowing discipline called the double. So we rowed together with another guy. And that was going great for a few years. And then we couldn't qualify for the Olympics. And I was really not sure if I wanted to continue rowing or not. And I didn't know what to do. And then I decided to go alone and try the qualification. And then I succeeded, and that was quite great. I mean, the spark of the qualification was in me, and I knew that, and that gave me a new motivation for the next year.
I see.
And last time when I was really down, it was last year, after failing qualifying for the Olympics again for Tokyo, but I still have a chance or two chances, but I want to take the first chance, of course. And I don't know what motivated me further was that I was happy what I was doing. So I was happy being a rower. I like this lifestyle. I like training. I like the races, and I wanted to continue that. So that gave me more motivation for the future.
I see. And you mentioned that this kind of a profession makes you happy. And you mentioned that you tried a lot of sports actually, like ice hockey, swimming, and also rowing. What made you choose rowing in the end?
It was kind of determined because also my father is my coach, and he was a rower. He was at the Olympics in '88 and would have been in '84, but there wasn't an Olympics in '84. And my mother was also a rower, so that was kind of written for me to go rowing. They didn't want me at first, so that's why I was swimming and playing ice hockey first.
Then it must be a family tradition kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's also becoming a family tradition that one Olympic Games is just postponed due to unforeseen world events.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, so history certainly repeats itself.
Yes. Mentioning the coronavirus situation and postponing the Olympics, we wanted to ask you about this current situation because it is really challenging for a lot of people, including professional athletes like you and or a student like you or us, because online education and the postponements of the sport events. How do you feel yourself in this current situation, and what is your opinion about this year and the challenges?
It was a really strange year. I wasn't passive last year when the virus hit the university. So these online the teams and everything was pretty new to me in September. For me, it's sometimes kind of more comfortable, the online education, because I can do it while I train. So, for example, I can listen to a lecture while I'm on the bike or something like that. So that's pretty comfortable. But I miss the social events, and I really miss being at the lecture. So it's kind of strange.
Yes,
especially presenting. I think that's the worst, because you are just basically talking to your notebook or phone or what you have, and nobody gives you a reaction or nothing, and I hate that.
That can also be like a positive thing, because in my experience, many of our classmates who would otherwise who are otherwise really nervous presenting, they're doing a much better job, a much smoother job of presenting through Teams. I think because their phones are a lot less judgmental than the class at large. I know that I am somewhat more comfortable doing presentations online than in the classroom.
Mm.
But moving back to you, you mentioned that you're doing your masters right now, and I'm wondering, how do you manage like both your career and your university studies at the same time? Because you have a career that one would assume is largely separate from your university lectures, and there's not much overlap there. So how do you find the time and the kind of perseverance to pursue both of these careers at the same time and excel at both of them?
I mean, I kind of did it all my life, so managing studies and sports at the same time. It's a matter of time managing. Just as an athlete, we have a strict day. So usually we go to bed at 10 o'clock, wake up early in the morning, do the training, and then I have plenty of time till lunch to do my studies, listen to lectures or anything, and then of course the afternoon training, and after that I have time too, but sometimes I'm too tired to study. So what I usually did at the bachelor's, and I'm doing this on the master's, I just don't took up all the classes what's required. So I'm doing the 2 years masters in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. So that way I can only have to concentrate on, I don't know, 4 or 5 subjects instead of 10, and I can concentrate more on the sports too. So that's how I do it, and it was working so far.
Mm.
The only downside is that I always have to change friends every every 2 years at universities, because every second year I don't know anybody.
Yeah, that must be challenging.
Yeah, but for me it's all right. I can easily make connections, so that's all right for me.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you lifted from your university experience and applied in your sports career? Because, for example, I don't know how the master's is or how was the bachelor's when you did it, but for us right now, it's communications and media is a lot of self-improvement and time management and personal branding and those kinds of lectures and seminars. So did you have anything that you could apply in your sports career from your university studies?
It's a hard question. I think if I implemented anything, it was not intentional, but I think social media wise, I must have learned something in school that I could implement, because most of my social media is around sports, so that's not university related at all, and that's where I usually use my studies at communication and media. But I did my bachelor's in commerce and marketing, so that's the marketing part is similar, but of course the economics is not what I can use.
It's a bit harder.
Yeah,
like more factual than communications and media, maybe.
Maybe, yes.
yeah, but I don't really use that in sports.
Yes, I wanted to jump to a bit of different direction because I wanted to ask you about the beginnings of your studies at the university, because I think it is quite rare, but a very impressive and wise decision to have time for the studies and try to get a degree, even though as a professional athlete, maybe you don't really have the time, but you still try to do it because it is important. And what made you decide to try to get a degree, to try to continue your studies at the university?
It was never a question for me not to continue my studies. So and rowing is kind of an intellectual sport. So everyone is at a university somewhere. In every one I know from other countries, they are doing universities all around the world. So and especially in Great Britain, rowing is especially a university sport. So
I see.
a lot of people start at the university and they learn rowing at their university. So it was never a question for me. First year was really, really hard. That's where I learned that I don't have to take all the classes because it would be unmanageable at some point. So when I had at the spring exam period, I don't know, like 10 or more exams, and before that some classwork and presentations and stuff like that. And spring is the time when races are coming, and that was a really tiring few weeks, and I never wanted to do that again. So that's when I decided that I will take university more slowly, and that way I can concentrate more on both things.
Yes, the multitasking part must be really hard, but it's quite impressive that you are able to manage it. And I wanted to ask you about the professions. I mean, the media and communication, and what made you choose it. We are media and communication students as well, even though at the bachelor's. And I just wanted to ask you about your thoughts on this media and communication. What made you choose it?
First, I was really interested in marketing and economics, so the bachelor's was really great. Was really a great experience. And then I didn't want it to continue that because the masters would be more or less the same as the bachelor's were. So I looked around what I was interested in, and I chose communication and media because that's kind of related to marketing.
Yes.
So that's PR section of marketing, and there's a lot of overlapping between the two, and I had enough of economics already. So I mean, I like them, but I liked this part more.
Yeah, I feel
So
Too much of a good thing.
yeah, yeah, and then I decided to go for it, and I noticed that my year would be the first year that can study this in English as well. So I went for the English class, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Yes, it's great to hear that.
Yes, I was thinking of how you see the effectiveness of the English language masters in general over here.
My biggest fear was that we will have teachers that can speak English and they won't speak English well, and that fear was basically dismissed in the first year. We had really good teachers. We also had an English, I don't know, an American teacher in the first year, which was pretty great. And all the other teachers, you probably know Delia Stab. She can speak really good English.
She's great.
Yes.
And also a bunch of other teachers.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your future plans, and you mentioned that what are your goals in your professional career, and I assume that you have goals in your career after sports. And what could you say about that? It's pretty wise that you doing such you're trying to get degrees at the university, and it's important for planning after the sports career. So what would you say about that?
I would like to finish the masters as soon as possible, because I'm starting to get fed up with schooling, and I want to try myself at some kind of work, or just in a work environment. If it's possible, of course, parallel to sports, so studies and university. I'm in work and university instead of studies and university. My goal, of course, is a medal at the Olympics. That's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
And I don't really have a goal yet in work, because I don't have work either.
Yes.
I don't have a workplace. But my only goal is that I want to be working somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't have anything specified yet in my mind, but that's the goal, to finish university as fast as I can, and then I start working somewhere, probably in 4 hours a day. That I think that's the maximum I can manage besides sports.
And could you imagine yourself just like your dad, that you stay in sports and maybe become a coach one day?
No.
No? And then why not?
I don't have the patience
I see.
to become a coach. I mean, this year I started a mentoring program for young rowers. I have 5 rowers at the moment in the program, and that's all right. I really like to help people who's rowing to get better, but as an everyday job to teach people and to I know the rowing people are crazy, so to bear the everyday craziness, it's not for me. I can't really be a coach.
So it's like crazy people and university people. And these are the two kinds of rowers. I guess it. I should have tried rowing.
Yeah, you can.
Sounds awesome.
It's really fun. I mean, we have an amateur rowing program for people who haven't rowed like ever, and it's in the evening, so everybody can come afterwards. So if you want to try, you can always come to our club.
Yes, it sounds
Just
fun.
give me a message.
Thank you. Thanks, that's very kind of
I
you.
will.
Yes, it sounds fun. And yeah, but I assume that achieving such a high level, just like you did, I mean, being to an Olympics and winning Hungarian National Championships, that requires a lot of work and a lot of years,
but,
actually.
but not everybody has to do rowing at such a high level, so you can do it for fun as well.
Yeah, I think it must have some some mental benefits as well. Like it is also a hobby for you, I guess. But not a work, sorry, but
no,
more like a hobby.
Yeah, it's. I think when it starts to get to feel like work, I think that it's time to stop, because you don't enjoy it as you did before, and I don't think that you can manage a high level when you think of it as a job.
Yes.
And not as something you like. I'm really fortunate to do something I really like, and I'm doing it for fun because I like to do it, and not that I have to do it.
Yes. Yes, I think it is very important, and that's how it should be done, and that's how everything should have been done. If it was possible, that we shouldn't consider it as a must, but as an opportunity or as a hobby. And yes, that's what I wanted to say.
I also like to call it a hobby.
Yeah. Yes, I guess. I also work. I mean, not work. We mentioned that it's not a work, but my job is actually a work. That I'm a sports journalist at Hungarian National Television. I'm only a part of an internship program yet, but I'm trying that I could be a professional sports journalist one day, and I really love sports as well. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I love sports as well, and I think it can be really think of as a work. It's more of a hobby, even as a journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point when you're doing it since you were 3 and you're an Olympic rower, at that point I would say it's a lifestyle, not really just a hobby.
Yeah, you could really say that.
Yeah, then it must be a lifestyle. Yeah. Then I think it would be all, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed our third podcast, the Budapest Student Broadcast. And this was your host Rego and my co-host Polly. And thanks for listening to us.